flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go into the first public comment, I would like to say that my street department man has been sick for 2 weeks out of the month of November. He didn't work at all. I in turn had the same crap he had and we were not holding hands. But it set me back for the better part of a week. So yes, we are behind in our leaves. So if we want to bellyache about leaves, it's gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but we've been sick and you can't work when you're sick. And it's Christmas time. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope that they keep our public comments peaceful. With that being said, public comments. Bradley, you're front and center.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone. Sorry I missed the tree lighting. I called Rich like the day afterwards and said, I hadn't heard the date. And he said, it was last night. Doggone, I missed it. Handed up front a copy of our county proposed 2024 budget. It totals $15,554,504, and it is balanced. That will maintain our fund balance about $1.8 million. Not quite as high as we'd like to have it.
I got any of that to spare? North Adams could use just a small percent.
If you look at that big rock pile we have in downtown, that would suck that up and not even shudder. But I'm not an advocate of having huge fund balances. Some units accumulate some unbelievable fund balances. I think that probably somewhere around 15% is probably a good number. I think that will take us to about 13%. So we're not bad, but you want to have it as a rainy day fund in case something bad happens or you don't get income you expect. If you are taking money from taxpayers, I want to see it delivered back to you in the form of services. And if we're accumulating too much money, then we need to cut our income stream, which basically is taxes. So we will have a public hearing on that budget at our first meeting of December. That will be on December the 12th at 10 a.m. If you do have any input on that, I'm delighted to hear from you, or you are welcome to express it to all of my fellow commissioners on the 12th. We did purchase some new software for our central dispatch. Dallas, this will be kind of exciting for all of us in the fire service, especially for the EMS side of the house, because that's where we do the most calls. Company, they actually are Michigan-based, is Tyler Technologies. It is the same software that is being used in Lenawee and Jackson County. So the real beauty of this for us, first and foremost, will be if something were to happen to our dispatch center, and you kind of go, well, what can happen to our dispatch center? Well, we have actually a pretty good-sized chemical operation less than 2 blocks away. Dow Chemical is not really that far away, and they do have occasionally batches that get away from them. So it is entirely possible we could have an event and maybe have to back out of there even if it was for a day or two. So, but the nice thing is our dispatchers could actually plug in their headsets, do their login credential because it's the same software, and they would be able to dispatch from that remote location. And those are our rollover centers, so that if we are overwhelmed, like you recall the storm last year, when we took an unbelievable number of calls in a very short period of time, sometimes those calls do roll over to Lenawee or to Jackson, so it will be nice if we're looking the same way. But here's the real great thing for those of us in the fire service. Right now, if you want to have a terminal in your unit to be able to see the dispatch and also where other units, other resources like your ambulance, what ambulance is on it. From the company we use right now, which is ID Networks, and have been using them since we implemented Central Dispatch a long time ago. ID Networks, it's about $8,000 to put that equipment in the vehicle, and then there's a relatively expensive annual subscription fee, which is the reason why my fire department, which has a budget of about $58,000 a year, doesn't have one of those, even in our medical vehicle, which goes a lot. The nice thing about this stuff is if you buy a tablet, Microsoft Surface or any other tablets that has a cell subscription, so you have to pay a monthly cell subscription, but you can mount that in and you will be able to log into CAD and you will be able to see that. So for the cost of a tablet and a monthly cell phone fee, you will be able to have that information in as many vehicles as you want to buy those devices for. So I suspect that probably Woodbridge will be doing it in Dallas. I'm sure that you'll be looking at that as well. So that's kind of exciting. That be nice to be able to see that what ambulance got put on it, where they're at, and what all resources that we have available to us. It will also be nice as we move more to the Mavis box alarm system. You'll be able to see those additional resources from the fire side of the house. The dome on the courthouse is complete at this point, so that's the very tip-top part and the great big dome. We have now taken down 4 rows of scaffolding from that, and if the sun is shining, did it a little bit today, that dome looks pretty neat with the copper up there. And work will now move on down to the clock level, and we will continue to work over the winter as weather allows us. Anybody who has worked construction outside knows that becomes much more difficult, and so, but we will continue to work as much as we can through the winter, and our expected completion date on that project is still for August of 2024. So if you are in downtown, take a look, the dome looks pretty sharp. Because of the legislature adjourning Sin Die in November, we will have an early presidential primary. That date will be February the 27th, if you have not heard that. We will have 9 days of early voting because the early voting is approved by the voters. That does apply to any federal or statewide election. So presidential primaries are a federal election. And so consequently, we will be having the early voting. That will be up at the courthouse for anyone who does not live in Somerset Township. Somerset was the only township that elected to continue to hold their own early voting elections. Of course, you'll still be able to vote where you normally do. That'll be out at the Township Hall for people that live here in the village on election day, and nothing will be different there. And of course, we've had for several years now any reason absentee voting, and so you can go ahead and get an absentee ballot as well. It would go to like 45 days in advance of the election. In case you missed it, kind of interesting little tidbit, one of the things that our legislature did in the waning moments of this session was that they preempted local units in regards to regulation of wind and solar, in other words, renewable energy things. So basically it preempts any zoning or other ordinances they might have at a local level. But as part of that package, the thing that particularly of interest to me is that there is a clean energy bill that Michigan has passed, and that part and parcel with that wind and solar energy is that by 2030, so we're in December of 2023, so about 6 years from now, 50% of our energy in Michigan will have to come from renewable. Now, when we put that in perspective, the current mandate is 15%, and that was increased from 10%, so a 50% increase not many years ago. That was back during the Snyder administration. We went from 10 to 15. So we're going to have to triple the output that we have available from those sources within 6 years. And by 2040, that 100% of the energy that we consume in Michigan will have to come from renewables. So by the time that I'm a pretty grumpy old man, already pretty grumpy, but a pretty grumpy old man of about 82 years old, when my power goes out because they're not able to meet those targets for 3 or 4 days a week, I probably will be particularly grumpy. Another thing I did catch on the news today, the governor did announce that we will be moving to 100% electrical vehicles for the state of Michigan. I will be really interested last night because I know there was a personal injury accident out on Bacon, and they were waiting for a trooper because didn't have anybody available, and Dallas is shaking his head. He knows about this call. The trooper was coming from Jackson. So think about that. The worst case scenario for batteries is wintertime because it takes more energy to heat them than it does to cool them, right? So those troopers, they leave Jackson at the beginning of their shift, and they come down here to Hillsdale County to do their 12, and don't ever shut those vehicles off. And so, and all those electronics they have in there, and of course, if you want to stay warm, yeah. So it will be very, very interesting from the public safety side of the house. Anything from snowplows and other big trucks that the state of Michigan has to public safety type, and other vehicles that they use throughout all their agencies. So stay tuned, it will be interesting. And that completes my report for this evening, unless you have questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We need a motion to accept the consent agenda, treasury report, approval of bills, and last month's minutes.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Got that done? Any old business? I don't know if this falls under old business or what, but Brian Smith got us, he's the gentleman that takes care of our sewer. He's got us an estimate for fixing some of the lagoons. He said won't be able to do it all at once, but they give us a quote. And I asked him if we could get him to come in and go over this with us. Tonight was not a good night for him, so. Basically, the South Lagoon and the North Lagoon is the one that has us in hot water with Eagle, but they haven't seemed to bite too hard. They got a quote for about $21,000 worth of stone, 6 to 2 inches. And then they would cut our shelf and fix it where it's washed away. And it's a big total of about $57,400. So, like I said, I'm not sure if this is old business or new business, but this, the sewers kind of been old business for quite a while, so hopefully next month I can get Brian here and we can go over this. If anybody wants to see this estimate, I have it right here.
Was that for just the North Lagoon or for?
No, we have one for the South Lagoon too, I'm sorry. The South Lagoon isn't creating much problems that anybody's bellyached about, but the subtotal for that was $29,500. Anyway, I'll get Brian here next month so we can discuss that.
And that was for our erosion issues, basically, is what that's gonna take care of, right?
Yep. Brian did say they probably wouldn't be able to do it all in 1 year, but when they drain the ponds, spring and fall, that's when the guy would come in and work on it and go as far as he can, and then he'd have to stop when it starts filling back up, because we can't shut it off.
Correct.
Okay, new business, we have a CD renewal. Let me call it up, she sent it to me on text tonight. Hang on. Oops. Here are the CD rates if council has questions tonight. Conley National, 13-month at 4.65 promo. Southern Michigan is 4.65 for 13 to 27 month, and I believe no early withdrawal fee. And then Flagstars, where the money's at right now, is 5.08 for 12 to 17 months. It's currently at Flagstar and it's a fire truck sinking fund that we're talking about, and it's worth $139,000. She did tell me when I called her on the phone to confirm all this, that Flagstar can't guarantee the 5.08 on Friday when this comes due. But it's quite possible that it won't change also, but they just said they couldn't guarantee it. So, yeah. Do we want to authorize Ellie to check with Flagstar on Friday, which I'm assuming is the best we can get at 5.08, and renew that, or does somebody else want to do it? All it takes is a phone call for Ellie to renew this.
And we can redo it for just the 12 months?
Yep, 12 to 17 months, and I told her we wanted to keep it as close to a year as possible, because that's what we've been doing in the past, because you never know what's gonna happen. It doesn't go up that much, but if it's gonna go down, we don't wanna be stuck in something that's gonna hurt us. So, somebody wanna make a motion?
Do we have to take money out of that for, or is everything good now with the
Just
funding?
rolls over.
Okay. I'll make a motion to leave it in Flagstar then, and renew it for the 12 months.
I'll second it.
You get the second, Desiree?
Steve?
Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll call Ellie. Street reports.
As Rick had said, I've been off most of the month, unfortunately. Our leaf count, we're at 120, this time last year we were at 138, 140. That's loads hauled off the streets. On our blocks down here that we put in earlier this summer, I've just called over there again, I've been calling for months, Rick has too. Finally, being as it's winter hours, Beckers and Scrivens will start making tops and making block for retaining walls, so hopefully we can see those tops by the middle of January, if not before, to complete that project. Last meeting, we talked about our concrete over on Wilbur Street and the approach down at the end of Knapp, next to the park. We had a company that was voted on to choose to do it. They were gonna start on it, they were waiting on concrete on their other job, so that put them a week behind. By that time, the weather was too crappy for them to start. They said, we can still pour it, but here's our concern. They put fibers, they put additives in it, and it's still not gonna cure as good as it would in natural weather, so it's best to wait if you guys can wait. So I talked to Rick, and he said yes, that we could wait. Obviously, he wasn't excited about it, neither was I would like to get it done. On the tower for Mark's service that we talked about last month, he met me up here. He can do the concrete pumping under that unit because it's like an epoxy that they use, and straighten up the tower, but he can't paint it or anything, so he asked if we wanted him to go ahead and do that. Now what he can do, and I said that would be fine, or he could wait till spring to go ahead when he paints it. And he also looked at the side of the building over here this last week where Rick had a concern with the water is literally running right in the wall. Sometimes the floor will even be wet in here. So we could get a quote on that so he could maybe pump that concrete down the outside, and or even if he had to pull something similar to a curb in there. It's not like anybody drives on that, so he could do a pour over on that even if he had to. So we'll have a quote on that. He should email that to Ellie. On the double wide, Rick, you'd said that we were waiting on the weather pretty much. Cause I did talk to Trumbull in town and he said just let him know. I meant to tell that to you. The salting, we got our salt hauled in this last week, so we're good there. Hopefully with the way the weather's been, I would like to think that will last us almost all winter. We got 6 loads, so with that being said, that should last us all through the winter. We went out, salted, sanded, and plowed once already this year. Got the plow trucks all around, everything's ready to go there. Hopefully on the leaves, we will have most of those finished up yet this week, and the rest remaining into next week, depending on how weather goes. And that's all I've got for streets. The stump grinding that we talked about last month, did we approve that? I didn't have that noted. It was just 3 that was left from the summer that the tree service hadn't finished. Was that okay to go ahead and let him get those done so they're cleaned up?
I thought we approved that earlier.
Okay, I wanted to make sure, I just didn't have note of it, so I wanted to make sure. I thought it was, I just wanted to verify that. Cause he'll be back in town this next week, he said, so I'll have him get those finished up. And that's all I've got.
You said there's only 3 left.
Yes, sir.
Dallas?
Okay, last month for November, we had 25 total calls. 18 were medical, 5 were fire related, and 2 accidents. The air packs we talked about ordering, those have been ordered. They told me 60 to 90 days to fill the order. We should be receiving them. So I'm pretty excited for that. Saving Christmas, that is coming up. We got dates set for that, will be the 9th, which is a Saturday. And the actual, countywide Saving Christmas is the 17th, which is a Sunday. We will be doing both those dates from 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning.
Tell me that again.
Uh,
December what?
December 9th was the first one, and December 17th, from 9:30 to 11:30. Next thing is, I'm having some issues with the NIFRS reporting again. I'm not sure if it's the actual NIFRS website or what's going on, but logging in, it's been a nightmare.
What is that?
That is the state requirement that all of our, calls that we run on has to be reported to the state of Michigan as our NIFRS.
Is it our computer or their?
I am not sure, why, I think it's the website, to be honest, but I'm not sure. I just contacted Rhonda which is the lady that's in charge of it through the state of Michigan. I sent her an email, I called her first, but no answer, so I sent her an email, and, no response. That was last Friday, so I'll check in with her again and see what's going on. I know they updated it, and there's new security stuff that's going on with it, I know, so. So I could not do any billing until that's complete, because with the billing, they want the NIFRS report, so, just to let you guys know. 930, you guys may have seen a bill for a record for that. We had not a structure fire, vehicle fire last Sunday. It broke down on us, just died, quit, wouldn't start back up. So we towed it up to Jackson. They said the ICP sensor went out, and which affected the sending unit. I actually talked with Adam up to Tri-County today. He was supposed to send me a estimate on it, but 6:30 to Denny. I hadn't got that email, so I'm still waiting. He said he could have it fixed by Friday if we got the approval, but I'm not sure how you guys wanna go about that, once I get it back, or you know, we just send it to Ellie, email it to her, or how, but.
Does anybody have a problem just getting it fixed, and as soon as we get the bill, we'll, or the
Just get it
quote,
fixed, it
we'll
has to
send
be
it
fixed.
out? I mean, we need it ASAP.
Yeah, just get it fixed. Yeah, just get
Make
it
a
fixed.
motion.
I'll make a motion to get it fixed. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
As soon as Dallas gets a quote, I'll try to text everybody. Either that or I'll text Ellie, or call Ellie and she can text.
That's fine.
Thank
Okay.
you. The last thing I have, Christmas lighting ceremony, I believe went well. Thank you guys for letting us be a part of that, so that's all I have.
Okay. Speaking of Christmas tree lighting, we took $60 out of petty cash and bought the tree. I told him I wanted a 10-footer. I'm not sure, but what we might have cut down a 14-footer. And we cut it off before we started dragging it because it was too heavy. And when we got it here, we cut it off again, and then realized for that tall a tree, we didn't have enough lights, so I got another $40 out of petty cash and bought 5 more strands of lights and put out the tree. And even though it was a little snowy, a little wet, and a little chilly, it went over pretty good, I thought. Street commissioner have anything? Finance committee got anything? Fire committee got anything?
I just had a few questions that I need to ask Dallas.
Hey, I did get the fire contract out to Adams Township.
Did that get signed?
It, to my knowledge, it hasn't got signed, but I didn't get no negative vibes.
No, no.
But it's, I repeat this yearly, but we have to, from years gone by, we turn it into them real early, so that if they wanna chew the fat on it and argue with us on anything, or kinda cut corners, we have time. So they've got a couple, 3 months yet before they have to get down to serious business. Okay, Parks Committee. I see we got our beanbag boards, cornhole, thank you. Picked up so they're not out in the weather during the winter time. Building and Ground Committee, I don't think we've met. Sewer Committee, we covered that. Ordinance Committee. Any comments from the board?
I need to ask, did you order gloves? You wanted to purchase gloves for each firefighter?
I have not yet, because, that's part of coming out of that, grant and stuff.
Mhm.
So Ellie wanted to, get the air packs squared away first.
First,
And
okay.
then I'll order those after.
And did you check on, a light that hooks into the generator, as far as finding kind of a cost on that?
There's a couple different, quotes that I have, I don't have them right now, they're out in the fire department.
Okay, that's fine, I just wondered if
Yep,
you're up
yep,
to,
yep.
okay, cool. What about the 5 new chargers?
The 5 new chargers, those have been ordered. We haven't received them yet, but those have been ordered.
Happen.
Yep.
Dallas, by the way, those Honda generators that we have that you guys used to use occasionally,
Mhm.
those are in the Lagoons building in your, spray rig.
Oh,
If
okay.
you do need one, they're sitting in the back, I run them every month.
Okay,
They have rec fuel in them, so if you use one, let me know, I have gallon rec fuel up here if you have to use one.
okay, thank
So
you.
those are fixed, we got those back from Superior
Great.
last month there. I let Dennis know, but he said he would probably forget, so I figured I'd tell you. But they're in that rig, and I got them just sitting in the bed of it.
All right.
Those were my main questions.
Steve, got anything? Desiree?
I have nothing.
Brian? Matt, your last chance.
That's it.
This is gonna go on record as the shortest meeting ever. Okay, we got public comment one last time.
Yes. I have 3 questions. Did we get the leak fixed in the new fire truck?
The what fixed?
The leak?
Yes, we, I had Matt from Dependable Fire Apparatus come over and, which we thought was a weld leak, it was not, it just, the back, valve or the chute that opens up to release the water, it was, just needed adjusted.
Oh, gosh, great. Next question, what is Savings Christmas?
The Saving Christmas is, something that the fire departments do around, Hillsdale County. We go out with a booth, stand
Oh,
out
okay,
and
okay.
collect the money and we give to, families for Christmas.
Okay. Third question, the water still stands in front of the Baptist church. What's going on there?
We haven't got anybody to come in and jet it out.
So you still have to go underground or what?
So so the one end of it that we replaced that was smashed, we had a contractor come in, and they brought what they call a router in. So they brought a router in, they got their router stuck in roots. They got their broken router out, and they said, you have to call in a jetter truck. So we were able to contact another municipal, as in Jonesville, and we've yet been able to schedule their truck to come over as things slow down. Hopefully they can run their jetter through it for us, and then we should be all set, because the end that was all busted, that they got on their little camera, we were able to replace. So that's all new, and that's on that would be the, east side of the driveway. That's all new pipe it goes back under the church drive and back across to Gardella's and hooks into theirs. And then we had to get the cement out on their end that somebody had put in previously, in order to even get the pipe exposed. So that's exposed now, and now it's just getting a jetter truck in there to get it jetted out. So that's the only holdup we have on that. As soon as we can get a jetter truck over, that place out of Jackson that I called, they were actually in town doing work for consumers, and then I called them after the fact to just get a rough ballpark idea on that. And I was in quite shock what their cost is to come out. It's right around $2,000. Whereas if we get a conjoining village, not that I've had one do it, or municipality, I guess the cost is not that excessive, Rick. You had had one before, I think, with a pump truck basically. Yeah, and I don't think their cost is that excessive. I would sure hope not, at least. So hopefully we can get them over here. I mean, it wreaks havoc because everything piles up right there, including debris, including leaves, everything. I mean, everybody's driving through water. They have to deal with it, it's across their driveway. So hopefully we can get that taken care of sooner than later.
It was even on the north side of the road. The
Yeah.
slab real bad.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it's in a heavy rain, it just sits there and builds up. It'll flow all the way across. I came home the one night and it was late and I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? And I turned around because there was water across the road. I thought something else was an issue, but it was just because it had rained so much. Yeah, I will make note to call them again. That is
Anything else?
How are we doing on the signs for 2-hour parking?
So the last thing that we had with that was Ellie had to get back on and order them, and we just hadn't met this month on it yet to do anything before I was off, and then she bam, off with the baby, so that kinda got mixed up there, so I'm just gonna send her a link to, the last I talked to her said just send a link, and she can still order them for us. Other than that, the poles are ready to go, we got all the mounting hardware, we have the other signs on them, so that's the only thing we're lacking on that.
Okay.
And we also got our, new holiday sign up, we have, what, Rick, 3 more, I believe, that we're missing hardware to, that we'll be able to, we can put up in 3 different locations.
Yep.
Those are actually pretty nice, people have complimented on them, we have different things for different time of the years to go on there, is that what you're gonna do?
Ellie said we have some money in some grant that we can order like springtime or summertime banners to replace the Christmas ones with. Just for the record, for anybody who don't know, Ellie had the baby about 2 weeks early and threw everything in a tither.
Yes. She
But
called me and
everybody's
told-
healthy and fine.
She called me and told me she had the baby and I was not allowed to be sick anymore.
I did ask her today how it was doing. She said sleeps all the time.
Yeah, she said it was a good baby.
Anyway, anybody else got anything? This is a record.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.